When we started this Dream Big experience, I set a really exciting goal for myself. I had been thinking a lot about authenticity and being more authentic in my message, and I had started already working on a book, and so my goal was to be holding a book in my hand that I had created. This was kind of longer term, so it came into focus as I was preparing for a speech. I got offered I was able to do a keynote speech for a company that was paying me well to do it, and I was actually really afraid about going into this. I was nervous going into it because I hadn't done such a focused keynote speech before and kind of focused on my message. And so I hired a coach to help me, and that coach helped me to tell my story. And again, that fear was there in the beginning, but one of the things that the coach had me do was to practice that speech 8 times before I gave it. And so I practiced it over and over again. After the 8th time, I wasn't nervous at all, and I was able to go into that speech so comfortable, and I felt amazing about it. And I felt like it was my authentic story for the book. The things that I talked about in the keynote speech will be elaborated on in the book, and so it's given me a really good structure for it. So my biggest insight for how to bring ships in is just connecting with our essence, connecting with who we really are. The way that we do that is by quieting mental noise. That's one time when I was at the Uintas, up in the Uintas with the Scouts. I saw there's a very, very calm lake, so calm that if you threw a pebble in, you could just see the ripples expand. And that's how you want your mind to be. The reason that we don't keep our mind calm like that is because we're not using our mind in the correct way. We're misusing our mind. Our mind functions the very best when you are connected to your outside world through your 5 senses, through what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch. And so in nature, that works really well. You're out there and maybe you're smelling the air, you're feeling the wind, you are feeling the ground underneath your feet, you maybe touch the water. So you're in tune with all these senses, and it's like you're appreciating life, and your mind is just calm. It requires no exertion, no effort on the part of your mind to be very calm like that. But we get into society, or we get around people, and we start analyzing everything. So you see someone, you maybe see a tree, but then it reminds you of the time that a girl dumped you underneath a tree like that, and you're like, oh, I'm such a loser, and why does these things happen? And so now you're analyzing, and there you go. Now you're adding ripples and waves to that pond or to that lake, and now your mind isn't quiet. And so you want to go back to, okay, you can go through those emotions, and then you always come back to, I want to connect to what I see, what I smell, what I hear, what I taste, what I touch.